Yo, what is up everybody on YouTube? It's your boy 97kicks back at it again with another video, and today's video is gonna be how to afford sneakers and streetwear as a broke college student. And as you guys can tell, this is a very highly requested video. So, being able to afford sneakers and streetwear boils down to two different things. One, having a stable income, and two, the thing that you want to buy being at a low enough price. Number one, find a job. As a college student, there are actually many opportunities for everyone to find a job, whether that be on campus, off campus, whether that be work study or non-work study. I actually had two work study jobs at the same time actually. So one of them, I was actually a waiter at my school's restaurant, and I had a base salary of $9.20 an hour. And I know you guys are thinking, what? But that's barely anything. How can I afford kicks that are hundreds of dollars? But listen here, $9.20 was my base rate, but I also had tips on top of that. And the tips actually make up a good portion of how much money I made. At the same time, I was actually an office assistant at my school's medical campus. So I was an office assistant in the morning, and in the afternoons and evenings, I was a waiter, and I had my classes in between. So using this method, I was pulling in maybe $400 every 2 weeks. And I know what you guys are thinking, that's not that much, but listen, you have to keep on adding up. You have to keep on saving, you know? Don't just, as soon as you get your paycheck, blow it all on one sneaker, you know? For example, if you wanted the Chicago ones, those are $1,000 sneaker. You have to save up. You have to budget. You have to know how much money you're getting each month and how much you're spending each month. Subtract that, and then you can calculate in how many months can you be able to afford that sneaker that you want. It's all about budgeting, guys. Not only that, but I also spent a study abroad year in China. And during my time there, I was actually an English tutor. So being an English tutor, especially an American in China as an English teacher, they actually make a lot of money. So I actually had a few students, and I was making 300 RMB an hour, which roughly translates to $45 per hour. So that was also a great method for me to be able to afford sneakers. And to all the kids who are watching this right now who aren't old enough to get jobs and to get an income so that they can afford sneakers, don't worry guys, I was in your place once before. I used to ask my parents for money all the time. So I'm a believer of working hard to earn something. So what I mean by this is not just asking your parents, oh, can I have some money so I can buy some sneakers, but giving them an actual incentive for them to spend their hard-earned money on your hobby. So for example, you could say, Mom, there's a sneaker that I want to buy, and I know that it's expensive, but I'll do the dishes for a week, or I'll throw out the trash for a week. You know, some small things like these, you know? And if you keep on doing these, then they're more likely to give you money so that you could buy these sneakers. And not only that, but you can also say, oh, I got straight A's this semester. Or you guys can say like, oh, my birthday is coming up, Christmas is coming up, Chinese New Year is coming up. Can I please have some money so that I can buy these sneakers? You don't ever want to just straight up just ask them for money. They need to have an incentive to give it to you. So I always believe in working hard and earning your money. Number two, buy used sneakers. This is actually a huge market, is used sneakers. So guys, I'm telling you, not all of us have $1,000 to spend like a DS pair of Chicago ones, right? But that's why I'm telling you guys to look into used sneakers, because you can actually find a ton of used sneaker steals. So what I'm saying is that, for example, a DS sneaker like the Chicago ones, they probably go for $1,000. But if you're already going to rock that sneaker, you're already gonna wear it, what difference does it make if it was already worn 3 or 4 times beforehand? So that's what I'm saying, guys. You can find these used sneakers, for example, like a Chicago one, and maybe it's worn like 5 times, and you could probably get it for, I don't know, $750. You can save like $250 right there just for buying a used sneaker instead. I have a great example for you guys. So I actually bought these, the white cement 4s. So these I actually bought used, and they are in actually really good condition. As you guys can see, it has all its stars, minimal heel drag, and right now this sneaker on StockX is going for $300 something, but I bought it used and in pretty good condition, and the dude sold it to me for, I believe, only like $140. So yeah, you can find a lot of used sneaker steals. And where can you find these used sneaker deals, you ask? There are a lot of platforms out there, but the platforms that I usually use are Facebook groups and Grail. So Facebook groups are really great because obviously in Facebook groups there are no transaction fees, there's no tax, there's no shipping fees. All you do is find the person on Facebook, find the sneakers that you want, and just meet up with that person, preferably in a secured public location with security cameras. That's probably the most cost-effective method right there. Facebook group, Facebook meetups. Number 2, I would say, is Grailed, because Grailed you can find a lot of steals, especially in the used sneaker market, because the seller fees in Grailed is not as much as in StockX. StockX, I believe, is 9.5% seller fee with 3% PayPal processing fee. So the people on Grailed are much more likely to let their sneakers go for a lower price than people on like StockX or even GOAT, because GOAT has high seller fee as well, 9.5% too, I believe, with 3% PayPal processing fees. So people on Grailed are much more likely to let their sneaker go for a lower price than people on StockX or GOAT, because they are keeping a higher percentage of their earnings. I believe on Grailed it's 6% seller fee with 3% PayPal processing fee, so it is significantly lower than GOAT or StockX. And not only that, but StockX and GOAT charge tax, which Grailed doesn't. So Grailed is a great app. And Grailed, if you're watching this, if you want to sponsor me, you know, don't hesitate to hit me up. Number 3, buy when the sneaker market is down. For example, right now is actually probably the perfect time to purchase sneakers, to either purchase sneakers for a personal pair or even invest in some sneakers and flip them. Because of current events going on, people aren't actually able to enjoy their sneakers. People aren't actually able to go out and actually wear their sneakers and enjoy their sneakers. Right now it might actually be the perfect time to invest in some sneakers. So what I'm saying is that there are a lot of people who right now on their minds, sneakers isn't the most important thing. In fact, sneakers is probably the last thing on their mind right now. They need food, they need water, they need to be able to pay their bills. And especially because a lot of people have been laid off, it's actually really difficult for a lot of them to spend money on their hobbies. And in fact, there are actually a lot of people who are letting their sneakers go for really good prices, and you just need to find them. Not only this situation, but in many other situations as well. So for example, back in the day when maybe like 2016, 2017, when Ultra Boost and Yeezys were all the hype, they're at much higher prices. But now, since that wave of hype is all over, those sneaker prices have drastically dropped. So you have to look at the market. And I know earlier I was talking trash about like StockX and GOAT, but even on StockX and GOAT, you can find some steals. For example, if a certain sneaker has a low bid, maybe you can place a bid slightly higher than that and you would have the highest bid. And if someone is actually desperate enough, they can let that sneaker go to your low bid. And so it's a perfect way to find a sneaker steal. Take advantage of a sneaker when the market is down. Even if a sneaker has a high value on the resale market, that does not necessarily mean that there is a high bid to match that. You can have a low bid on StockX, but as long as your bid is the highest bid, then there may actually be someone who is desperate enough to sell that sneaker to you for that low bid. So that is a great way to find a sneaker steal when the market is down. Number 4, trade sneakers that you have that you don't want anymore for sneakers that you do want. So what I mean by this is that let's say I have my black cement 3s, right? So this is a sneaker that's worth maybe $250 on the resale market, right? And let's say that I want to buy the Chicago ones, right? I don't necessarily have $1,000 lying around to buy the Chicago ones, right? But if I trade this sneaker, right? If I use this sneaker as trading potential, I could sell this sneaker for $250, and I could use that $250 towards a sneaker that I actually want, like the Chicago ones. And so I can use this sneaker as trading potential, so that maybe if I don't have $1,000, but maybe I have $750, and then I could be able to buy the Chicago ones. You know, you guys know what I'm saying? And it doesn't just go for sneakers, but streetwear as well. I mean, there are a lot of stores out there, a lot of consignment shops, a lot of stores out there. You just have to look for it on Yelp. For example, here in LA, on Melrose, we've got Round 2, we've got Cool Kicks, and they actually do a lot of, you can actually do a lot of trading there to buy the sneaker that you actually want. So for example, like you could bring your sneaker in, and then you could either trade it for straight up cash or get store credit. So usually store credit is better for trading because they will give you higher store credit than they will give you cash. So if there's a sneaker that you've been wanting, but you don't have enough money to get that, then you could trade the sneakers that you already have, sneakers or streetwear that you already have, and you can trade it up for a sneaker or a streetwear piece that you actually want. And especially at Round 2 and Cool Kicks, you can actually find a lot of good deals out there too, as well. Number 5, restocks. For the people who are not comfortable wearing used sneakers and who could never see themselves wearing a used sneaker, and there's a shoe that they really want, but the price is just so up there, but the resale price is just so up there that they cannot afford. So there's actually this Twitter account named Soullinks, and they offer the free notifications whenever like a hyped sneaker restocks. If you just follow them and turn on bell notifications for them, then you'll be notified for all the hyped sneaker restocks. An example of this is like the Yeezy 350 V2 Blacks. Before they restocked, they were going for like $400 something. But right after restocking, they dropped to like $300 something. But if you actually followed Soullinks and you were on top of things, then you could have scored that sneaker for retail of only $220. This is just another way to get those steals and deals, how to afford these sneakers. Soullinks, they do stuff for not only sneakers but also streetwear, so you can look into those kind of things as well. I know a lot of the times they have notifications for restocks for streetwear as well, for example like Off-White. So if you're into those kinds of things, then that's a perfect way. You should go follow them on Twitter. Number 6. So another method of buying sneakers as a broke college student is you can try to get into the reselling game. I know this is pretty difficult and maybe it's kind of hard to understand for a lot of people who are just getting into sneakers, but basically what reselling is buying a sneaker at retail and then selling it to someone who's willing to buy it for the resale price and making the profit in between. So I've done this a couple of times, and I will say it is pretty difficult, but as long as you're on top of things, then it is possible to make a substantial amount of money on this. So when you need to get on top of things, you have to know the release date, you have to do your research. So you have to research that sneaker, you have to know when it's dropping, where it's dropping, you have to know whether they're going to do first come first serve, are they going to do a raffle, and once you've secured the sneaker, now you need to know of how to make a profit, whether you should hold them or whether you should sell them immediately. So, but my take on this is that if you need that cash right now, then just sell it. Make your quick flip and just make your quick money and just sell it. I've done this a couple times before. I've done this one with the Jordan 1 Neutral Gray. I've done this one with the Jordan 1 Turbo Greens. I've actually done this with a lot of sneakers. I've done this with the Jordan 1 Women's Satin Black Toe. I've done this with the Fear of God 1. So basically just buying these sneakers at retail or significantly lower than market value and then selling it at a higher price and making profit. That's money that you can use towards purchasing a sneaker that you actually want. For example, when the Jordan 1 Turbo Greens were releasing, they were releasing in a lot of stores actually. I entered in as many raffles as I could, and I actually got really lucky and I was able to cop 2 pairs of those Turbo Greens. And I bought them at $160 plus tax, so that's about $175, and I sold them on average for $240. So you can do the math. That's a good amount of profit right there, and you can use that money to buy it towards a sneaker that you actually want, or you can trade a sneaker, trade it for something that you actually want. Now, the thing about trading is that it is very difficult to find someone who's looking for the exact same trade that you want. For example, if I want to trade my Air Max 1s for a pair of Air Max 97s, it is very difficult to find someone who is willing and who wants to do that trade. That's the same concept with size swaps. It is very difficult to find someone. For example, if I have a pair of size 9 Yeezys and I want to trade it for an 8.5 because it's too big, it is very difficult to find someone, an exact person who has the exact same shoe who wants to trade his size 9 for my 8.5. It is very difficult to find that. So the more practical method, even though it is not as efficient as a trade, but it is much more practical, is just to sell that sneaker that you have and use that money towards the sneaker that you want. Although it is true that that is not as an efficient method because you will be losing some money in between the trades, it is a much more practical method than finding someone on a Facebook group who is looking for that exact same trade. Number 7. So, in addition to finding these sneaker steals, getting a job and all that, another very important method for being able to buy these sneakers is being able to cut costs elsewhere. One of the biggest costs for college students, other than tuition, room and board, is meals. So as a college student, you're probably asked to eat out a lot by your friends, or you're peer pressured to go eat out a lot. And although eating out is nice once in a while, if you eat out for every single meal, then that cost adds up. I know this one might be obvious, but eating out is significantly more expensive than just eating at home, cooking yourself and eating at home. I would recommend for those of you who are trying to save up to buy their next Grail, instead of eating out every meal, eating out every single time your friends call you and you want to eat out, or even like getting boba and that kind of stuff, try eating at home more. Try cooking a meal and eating at home more, because that will save you a lot of money, trust me. But I know some of you might be asking, but 97, I don't even know how to cook. And trust me, I'm with you. I barely know how to cook myself, but with the help of YouTube, you can learn how to cook as well. Okay, so for me, even though I cook pretty bad food, I at least know how to cook, and I can at least ingest the food. The food that I cook is at least edible. So for me, since I like streetwear and sneakers a lot, I can take eating at home for an entire week, eating home-cooked meals for an entire week, eating food that I cooked myself, even with my terrible cooking skills, for an entire week, just to be able to afford a Grail sneaker or a Grail streetwear piece. You need to find ways to cut costs in other areas so that you can be able to afford these things like sneakers or streetwear. And that's a wrap. Thank you guys so much for making it to the end. Only my real fans make it to the end. And if you're new here, don't forget to smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, turn on post notifications so that you don't miss a single video. And follow me on the gram at 97kicksofficial so that you guys can see sneak peeks like this or that. And it's been your boy 97kicks, and we out.